Hey, what's up, everybody? Hitman BK here. So yeah, I don't do. We haven't done. We haven't done a lot of Destiny content, really. I think I made like one video that was the launch of the Final Shape DLC, like the video where they showcased it. But I have been playing I've been playing Destiny since the alpha. I've been in Destiny a long time. I've created a community around Destiny. I lost the community. I mean, like I got a lot of experience with Destiny, a lot of great memories. And some of those people who know how much I like Destiny were like, "Man, you got to make a video about Destiny because of the things that were said." Yeah, well, so I am, and if you clicked on it, that's what this is. And if you're just looking for my hot take right off the start, I echo Paul Tassi, I echo Gathalion on Twitter. A sense of disappointment for sure. Is I think they've all have great takes. And if you've listened to theirs, you may not get anything new out of mine. But I'm making this because I was asked to. So yeah, let's do it. I guess. What happened? Like literally, what happened? That's my go-to. I think. Man, I think with Bungie, I think this with Bungie, outside of it being just obviously probably a very poorly managed situation, and probably has been for a while. Uh, Outside of that, I think industry wide, I do think there is a natural fatigue in live service gaming. I think players are tired of being beta testers of sorts. I think the model of live service doesn't feel that good anymore. Um, that's just off the bat. Like, it has nothing really to do with Destiny as much as I just think it's harder today to do what Destiny did. And I don't know if anybody wants that either. Gaming is different than what it was a decade ago, y'all. I mean, like this year alone, there are so many games that could win Game of the Year. It's pretty ridiculous. And the idea of games as a service that require you to constantly log in, I think, is fading. I think there are games people will replay. I think like Remnant 2, um, uh, even Diablo, like like Diablo's gone live service. I'm a Remnant 2 channel, but that's an easy one because Remnant 2 is not live service, but it's a game you constantly want to come back to. But it's a full-fledged feature game when it comes out, and you kind of hope for DLC, and then the DLC kind of expands upon that more than this idea of live service, which attaches you to this idea of constant updates, and that kind of stuff. Because Remnant actually does a really good job communicating with their community as well, right? Which is something that's crucial for a live service game. So I think there's fatigue in general for live service. I think, yeah, and in terms of what happened, I think with Destiny, I think Bungie's probably been in Bungie's way for a long time. I've defended them for a long time. I think they've done some really great things. I think most people can say that. I think people who fell off due to the microtransactions and the way the seasons were spaced out, I can understand that. I've also defended it because it's also, I mean, that's how else do you continue to support a studio of as the size of Bungie without finding some way to monetize? Especially when you're continually creating content every 3 months. I can't imagine what that production pipeline is like. I imagine it's got to be very hard and very taxing and very stressful. So I can understand the business side of it a lot. I think the problem with Destiny and what happened is in a game in live service games, a lot in art. Honestly, art is something that artist creates and puts out into the world, and then others take ownership of it. And that's both in paintings when you actually buy it, or even in books when you read it, or movies with fan fiction, things that transcend and do really well and catch the proverbial lightning in a bottle become people who attach themselves to that, take ownership of it. They fall in love with it. They follow it. They create fan fiction about it. And it becomes a part of their identity, both from an artist standpoint and probably even from a personal standpoint, depending on how much time you've invested in that. And I think what's different, what sucks about the situation is Bungie has always had highs and lows. They've they've made mistakes and they've come back to it. They've gone down, they've flown back up. It's kind of been just like that roller coaster. And it's almost created a sense of like community around that. And like as a Destiny player, you kind of expected that. You took the lows with them. You're like, Bungo, what are you doing? Like make these changes. Like don't do that. Why did you do that way? And the Taken King. Oh, this is so amazing. And oh my God, Bungo. Like why did you just do this? And oh my God, Witch Queen. And we kind of rode that with them, and and a lot of that has to do with how well, regardless of what people say, honestly, in my opinion, in their for a while, their community engagement was how good Deej did and Cosmo, DMG, like all these people who really brought the community in, and streamers, King Ithalian, Professor Broman, Glad. I mean, like the list goes on for forever. And we all congregated around this like identity of like what it meant to be a Destiny player and take these rides with Bungie and help them out. And like, why aren't they listening to us? Okay, they kind of listen to us. Oh, this is great. And then, yeah, 2 days ago happened. And I think that was a doozy. Because it felt like a mass betrayal for not I can't even and we're not even the developers, you know? I mean, for people who are commenting, for guys like everybody who had something to say, we didn't get fired, right? We're not the 8% that got let go. But we all felt it. So I can only imagine how those who got let go felt. And when you are a live service, when you're just a company in general, I mean, like, it's like, I feel like it should be common sense at this point, but for some reason it's not. In the world of social media, there's nothing you can really get away with anymore. And just the way that this happened, it felt so dirty that collectively, I think a lot of people, it's like when you really like someone and then all of a sudden they do something that just such utterly betrays your trust, you no longer see them the way that you did. And I think that happened. I think why there are so many videos and why so many people want to talk about it is because collectively everybody just felt that. Everybody just felt someone they really care about show a side that they didn't really want to know existed. And yeah, and now we're all like, well, what do you do? Because like there are still amazing people at Bungie. You still want to support something, but unfortunately, upper management, which is who this should 100% be put on, because that's just how things work in the real world. And how do you support the current people that are still there and not support the poor management that led us all to this point? And it sucks big time. And you guys know I don't make stuff like this. I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but that sucks. That just sucks. And there's no, there really isn't a silver lining here. And, I mean, yeah. And it happened right at the end. Like at the end of the day, it was the end, y'all, right? I mean, it was the final shape was coming. Like this journey we were all on was coming to a close. And now it has to close with this sour ass taste in everyone's mouth. And that just makes the knife even worse. And it just opens the door to the idea that it probably never was Activision, and it's not Sony. I think it's like in terms of what Bungie did, it's a Bungie thing, and that management killed the game. I mean, I don't know if we can say killed the game, you know? I mean, I hope Final Shape comes out and it's horrible delay and what will be the longest felt season ever, including coming off the back of this horrible firing that they did. Yeah, it's going to have to be one hell of a DLC. And even then, I think people like me may come back for that and leave. And that just sucks. Because I was all in on the new acts and I was hopeful for the future. And it's crazy that they let go of people who have been at Bungie for as long as they have too. That makes it even worse. They let go of they let go of the composer, which like I don't understand that. And then they let go of the composer for Deepstone, which is one of the best soundtracks on Enraid I think Bungie's ever put out. They let go of the girl who created the Halo logo. Like they essentially dissected the soul of the company. And regardless of how many people they kept there, like you still did it. And I can only imagine how the people who work there feel. So this whole thing is just bad. And I'll be honest, I uninstalled Destiny and I canceled my pre-order. I'm still gonna play the final shape because I wanna close out this 10-year journey. Um, and outside of all the stuff I've said to friends that and defended Bungie in terms of their monetization and how like I can see from a business standpoint how this can work. It's crazy that they were 45% in the hole. I don't see how that happens given how popular Lightfall was. And I haven't even talked about Lightfall, which was a huge a disappointment. As well. But I mean, even with Lightfall's disappointment, I think people were expecting things to come back around. And honestly, the Witch Queen season almost brought me back. I was about to pick it up because of all the good things I had heard about the season, but I'm not. After this, there's just no way. And I'm sure Lightfall probably hurt their sales numbers too. But I think that also probably was tied to upper management more than it was the actual developers behind, the game. And I don't know what is going on at Bungie Studios. You can never predict why these things are going to happen. It doesn't feel good to be fired and to say essentially it's not personal, it's just business, which at the end of the day is 100% what Bungie just did. And they did it in the most scummiest of ways, which it's just, I just don't understand. I cannot process that part of it. I don't understand some industry wide. There's a lot of weird stuff happening with the layoffs. Probably some of it's tied to COVID. I'm sure some of it's contractors, which obviously you're never really a full time when you're a contractor. And the systems have kind of like leveled out now as well. We're no longer in COVID. People have figured some things out where they probably overhired during the work from home days. I'm sure some of that comes into play without a doubt. But some of the just communication and the way these things have happened, Bungie prime example, and how you let people go, you just don't do it that way. And you got to know it's going to go all over the internet, which is the craziest thing. Like you have to know these people are going to post, it's going to get found out. And you speak dead air in the way that they did this, and even the way that I think it was the CEO commented on Twitter like, sorry, that sucks, we just lost some good people. Like you're a piece of poop. I mean, like that's just it. Like, and you've lost your audience. And as a guy who's been in marketing for forever, it is a hard thing to win back people's trust. And 2 days ago, Bungie just lost everyone's trust. So I don't know what else to say except for that. I feel like I'm almost still trying to defend them, but I'm really not. I think what they did was bad business. I think it's a sizable wound that I don't know if it heals all the way. I think a lot of people may come back for final shape and then peace out. I don't know what's next for Bungie. Marathon is like a Tarkov-esque extraction shooter, which has nothing to do with the genre of Destiny. So, and it's a very niche genre at that. I don't see that being a place to put all of your eggs into. I wish them luck. I don't really have an interest in it. I, you know, but times change, people, y'all. I mean, we got a lot of good games that have come out. We have more good games on the horizon. These are very talented people who were let go. I am sure they will find homes. They should go to Microsoft. Phil Spencer, I'm sure he will gladly hire you. That man is doing a great job at running a business in a gaming company. He actually plays the games too, which I doubt anyone at Sony does, or even the managers at Bungie. I mean, do you even play? Anyway, I don't want. I'm not gonna do name calling. Yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say about that. It's disappointing. It hurts. It was a hell of a run. I have incredible memories with Destiny. I will always cherish. There are some incredible moments with that game. It did things no other game has done and still hasn't really captured. I wish Bungie nothing but the best and hope they can turn this ship around somehow. Maybe get rid of some of the management in there that's screwing things up. And I hope the people who got let go will find really amazing homes to put their talent forth. And that's not just for Bungie, but for all the devs that have been laid off across Sony and other places. Creating art is hard, man. It's hard. I work in video production, and I've been in these situations. I create things for a living, and it is hard. It's hard to do it. It's hard to put yourself out there, and it's hard to take a loss like this. So I wish all of y'all nothing but the best, and here's to what's next, I guess. I mean, we'll see what comes next. I think hopefully, the biggest take from all of this is learning how to progress forward in live service games in general, and figuring maybe leaning away from that genre, and figuring out better ways to develop and stuff too. Because I'm sure that has also taken a huge change recently. And cost for developing has gotten more expensive as well, and games have gotten bigger. So I understand all of that 100% from a business perspective. So I'm looking forward to the future, and I'm super bummed today about what happened over at Bungie, and and flabbergasted at some of the people at just some of these decisions that were made. Yeah, that's it. If you have anything else to add or have any comments, by all means, sound off below. Um, I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. Nothing lasts forever, though. I think that's the takeaway, y'all. Nothing ever lasts forever. I'm Hitman BK. Make sure you guys keep being good humans, okay? Till next time.